Hello guys, welcome back. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and here we are now with part 9 of the Gannet build. And here you can see we're basically starting off with doing this masking here. If you remember, I messed up at the end of part 8 and I had this white line here missing. I wish I'd noticed that. The other thing I wish, and I can't believe I didn't do it because I always do, I always talk about it with Sven's masks and everything. I should have painted the white first and then masked that area off and painted the other colours, because these will cover the white a lot easier than the white will cover them. So I don't know, I had a brainwave or whatever, I don't know. That's what I should have done. I should have painted this whole area here white and then masked off the white and painted the rest, and then we wouldn't have this great big build up that we got, these great big steps of paint. We're going to have to get rid of those with clear coats and stuff, and we'll also do some sanding once we've got this this white bit here. You might be wondering, why am I doing this? The reason is I don't have a spare decal to try, and we've got like literally black and white, and I don't want that showing through the decal. It'll look blimmin' awful. So I can't look on the model that's in the magazine because they didn't have any decals at the time, so theirs was all masked and sprayed anyway. So what I've done, I've got some Tamiya 40mm tape, which is horrible stuff. I wish somebody else would come out with something a bit nicer, but this is nothing like the normal Tamiya tape. And then I got my shadow circle cutter that John got me. Thank you very much, John. It's come in so handy for so many projects. And what I do, I just get I know what size I need. I get a scrap of paper, and I go on the scrap of paper and I cut I haven't got the cutter in there. Cut the hole I want, and then measure it, and then you can just make small adjustments. I wish somebody would make us. Maybe somebody does, but the trouble is with these circle cutters, you've got these increments on here, but there's no fine adjustment. If it's like 1/2 mil too big, it's sort of very difficult to just move. I wish we had one with a thumb width on it so you could make fine adjustments, but we don't. So it's just a case of trial and error, really. So I'm going to now go on and get that white painted, leave it for a few hours to dry, and then try and sand it back. I'm going to use Mr. Surfacer. I'm not using that bloody awful Tamiya LP39, isn't it? Bloody awful paint. I used it here. I put the Mr. Surfacer as an undercoat and it was fine. I've used it here. Here it just builds up, but it doesn't cover it at all. It's absolutely useless. It just, when you try and spray something, it just soaks in. So yeah, I did it on bare plastic and it was okay, but as soon as you put it on anything else, it's so hot it just burns into the paint underneath. So you end up building up loads. You can hear it on here. And this has been clear coated. What we'll do is put loads of clear coat on there, and that'll get rid of it, and we just gently sand it out. But the trouble is, you start putting loads of clear coat on, you lose your surface detail. Then when you put your washes down, it doesn't look any good. So it's awkward. I wish I'd done it first. I'm really annoyed with myself. I was even half tempted to sand all this area down and paint it all again, but life's too short. So basically, I'm going to get these areas here painted white. You can see where those roundels go, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, I've got that one too low. I'm going to have to redo it. I'll see you back in a minute. There we go. As you can see, we've got that cover up now. I've used this Mr. Surfacer and we have hardly any step at all. I wish I'd used Mr. Surfacer on here now and then just given it a very light coat of an off-white or something, or put a little bit of brown in Mr. Surfacer, but this... never mind, it's all going to be salvageable, but it's just this here is like, it's about 8 inches thick. So yeah, never mind. Once it's all weathered and washed and oil streaked and everything, no one's ever going to notice. And when it's all matte coated, it won't notice either. It's just the fact that it's got a sheen to it now that you can see it. So we'll get that all sealed in with some aqua gloss, and then we can get ready. Then it's going to be tomorrow now, I think. We can start to get ready thinking about put some decals on. Now, you may be asking why I'm not doing these circles on the wings. Reason being, as I said earlier, when the wings are folded, they're like that, so you're not going to be looking at these roundels anyway. So it'll be a good test to see for you guys going forward if the cartograph decals are that good that you don't see the white behind the you know, when you've got the decals going to be on the grey and the white. So we'll see how good they are. But as I say, I'm not really too worried about it in there because when they're folded up, you can't see them. If your wings are out, they're going to be a focal point. So if we do see this grey area and the white area underneath there, and you're having wings out, then you need to do the same as I've done here with these circles. So they are just smaller. They are just about 0.2 smaller than the decal. So if we do have any white sticking out of the edge, I'll just mask the decal, but we won't. If we position the decal perfectly, we'll be okay. Right, so I'll get some clear coat on there now, and then I'm going to call it a day for this segment, and then I'll see you like that, but tomorrow. Alright then guys, a few hours later now, what I want to do is get these decals on these wings, and then we can go on and fit the pylons for the rockets. So I'm just going to put these on for now. I'm going to clip off this number 137, because otherwise that'll come off in the water and float around and can get under your decal. It's worth noting that when you look at these wings, this one here, okay, is 137, and that's that way round. And when you look at the other one, that's 138. It's the other way round. It's that way round. So you need to be careful of that. Also, the bottom of this X is going to go into this recessed area here, so I'm just going to let it go over, and hopefully the micro set and sole will take care of that. So I'm going to grab my little cutting mat here as my little resting place to put the decals on. We'll get that sheet out of the way so we don't get camera whiteouts. We'll get that there. We've got our cotton bud ready, we've got our brush ready. So I am literally going to put this in the water for a few seconds. We'll get the micro set at the ready, we've got the brush there. Okay. We've got our wing here. It's had a coat of aqua gloss. As you can see, it's not mega shiny. If you put it on too thick, you lose your detail. But it's just as long as it's got a glossy coat, not a matte coat. So that a lot of people argue, but I just think the best way to guarantee not getting silvering is to put a gloss coat down. And also, if you do get silvering, it's much easier to stick a knife in it and put some solution on and clear it if you've got a gloss coat. So that's just my experience. You may have a different opinion. I'm going to grab a piece of paper towel. Now, I did a couple of tests earlier on with these, and I found they stuck to the paper for quite a while. And the other thing I found is you've got this little tiny, these lines here, they're marking the sling point. I wish they'd made that as a separate decal. You've got this little tiny leg here that just wants to break off. There we go, it's starting to move now, but I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. So that is going, that's a shame. That tail's this way, and I would like to be able to put the decal on this way, but never mind. So I'm going to put some micro set on here. Remember, this is aqua gloss, so it may well take on a sort of a hint of a white colour. So we'll have to wait and see. But it does actually disappear, so if you get that situation with your model, don't worry about it. So it will actually slide this way, but we've got to be very careful of that leg. We've got to push this X right over. It's sticking to my finger, that's the problem there. We'll get some water on there, it's wet my finger. That leg of that X wants to stay on the paper, look, which is a shame. So we'll get this on here and then we'll position it after. See, that leg wants to break off. I really wish they'd done that as a separate piece, a separate decal, because it just wants to snap off. It's a bit silly. Right, so now we need to try and manipulate the decal up into its correct position. I'm going to get some more water on here, let it capillary under. See, this end of the X is playing up, so we're going to slide the decal over. Come on, I hate it when this happens. Doing decals on camera is always horrible, guys. Come on, go, move, move. Let's get some more water under there. Wonder if a tool will move it. Nope. I have actually got some of those artists rubber pad things. I could use those. Oh dear, 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 I hate it when this happens. It's because the camera's on. If I didn't have the camera on, those ones I put on earlier without the camera on doing the test, they went down absolutely fine. Just does not want to move. You can see what I'm doing is just pushing the brush underneath and getting some water under it. Oh dear, dear, dear. Come on. This is one of the problems with using microset. It does make decals stick down. So I may try the next one without it, to be honest. But with these being in such a prominent position on the model, I want to make sure they've gone down. There's lots of detail on here as well. Lots of raised detail. Well, and recessed detail as well. Come on, move. Oh, God. Yeah, there's ridges all along here holding it. There's a big crease in it there. Look. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab one of these tools. These are the rubber tools you get on Amazon. I'm going to try one of these. Come on, open up. I've never ever tried them before. But oh, they're in another bloody bag inside. Come on. I have seen these used to position decals. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn the camera off because this is never going to go right as long as I've got that bloody camera switched on. See you in a minute. Guys, just to show you, as soon as I switch the camera off, look, I can move it to my heart's content. Isn't that absolutely, you see what I mean? It's not just myth or old wives' tales, it's actual fact. That's a shame. I'm going to have to cut that X, which I didn't want to do, to bring it over there. There we go. So there we go. That's that one in place. Now I just want to check it's all parallel and everything. Got that little leg sticking off down there, which luckily you can't even see because it's on the black. I want to make sure we've got the decals equispaced between those white stripes, because as I say, this is such a prominent part of the model. So we can roll this down on this end and that will just lock it into place. I thought I was going to be giving Dale a call tomorrow and asking if I could buy another decal sheet, because the trouble is I've done these stripes now, so there's no going back. I can't suddenly decide to do the other option. Well, there's 3 options in the kit, but the other 2 don't have the stripes. But I really did think I was up a creek without a paddle then. Okay, still wrinkles in there. I think the problem is we got all this raised detail on here, and what's happening is the decal is curling itself up over that raised detail, but then when it gets down here it just wants to crease. Hopefully with the microset and sole it will sort all that out. We shall see. I'm just going to do one at a time, I think, and see what happens. Just roll this down. There we go, so that's nice and even across there, look, in those stripes. And then here, just wondering if I get some kind of metal tool, if I could just push that over to there. And then with a knife just push on it, not try and stroke it, just push on it. swine. There we go. So we'll get rid of that bit. Okay, so that's that. Now what we'll do now, as per the instructions, which a lot of people don't ever bother doing, we will put some more micro set on here, which helps the setting process. Just looking, that 5 is further back, but that is correct. I'm looking on there and it's like that on there. So there we go. And then just roll this down. You can see straight away with that micro set on there, the wrinkles are disappearing. Luckily the wrinkles are all in clear carrier film, so if we do get a problem it'd be easy just to sand them out once the decal's gone off for a couple of days. There we go, we look at that, we can see that it's down, we don't have any strange goings on. We've got these wrinkles after these wing stiffeners here, but to be fair they're going to be hidden under the rockets anyway. But I'm thinking with micro set on there they should pull down, so I'm happy with that. So we'll get our micro set and just brush this on, and it will probably all wrinkle up and it'll look terrible, and then it will sort itself out. So I'm going to leave that for 10 minutes. I'm actually watching the video that was put up yesterday, I think it was yesterday, when the F-22s were coming into Lakenheath. So I'll go watch a bit more of that and then come back. So let that settle down. You can see it's all going to start to wrinkle up. That'll be fine, it'll sort itself out and will pull down lovely, I hope. Just in case, because I know you're all going to ask, these are actually called clay sculpting tools. I thought they were artist eraser, but they're clay sculpting tools. Have a look on Amazon, but be very careful which ones you buy. They're all the same. These, I got these, I've lost them, so I ordered some more. These I paid about £5 for. These I paid about £1 for. So, and you can see they're the same. If anything, these are a bit nicer. So yeah, bear that in mind. They're called clay sculpting tools, and I've seen a guy using them to position decals, and I thought, what a bloody great idea. So there we go. So I shouldn't be touching this. I should be leaving it alone. But the temptation is always to see if you can brush those wrinkles out. So it will sort itself out if I just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Yeah, right. Right. Well, after only a few minutes, that has gone down absolutely beautifully. You can see like this panel detail here, it's all pulled into those inspection panels. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to get on and get the other one done. I've also done one of the roundels. If you remember, I did this white paint for the roundel so that it looked good, and I think it looks good. So that's great. We've got quite a step in the paintwork here, so I'm going to have to sand that out. I'll wait for the decals dry, and then I'll get in there with a sort of 2000 grit or something and just sand that out, get rid of those steps. That's where the paint's built up on the edge of the masking tape. But it's that bloody white paint. I use Tamiya LP39. Don't bother, guys, it's awful. You have to put about like 10 coats on to get any coverage whatsoever. So whereas if you use the Mr. Surfacer 1500 white, it's just like a light mist coat, and you can see on here, that's the Mr. Surfacer 1500 white there. So I wish I'd done that and added a little bit of brown to it just to tint it, so that I know now for the future. But also, as I said in part 8, I wish what I'd done, which I normally do, I tell everybody else to do it, paint the whole area white first, then mask it off, and then do the green and everything, or the sky and the grey, so that you don't get this build-up of white, because it's horrible. Right, I'm going to carry on watching my F-22s, and I'm going to get on and put this other one on here, and then I'm going to leave it for tonight, because then it'll be nice and dry tomorrow. We can poke the holes through and get those rockets on, get the rocket racks on. I haven't put the decals on the rockets yet. So yeah, we're actually getting there, guys. This one's nearly done. So I'll see you tomorrow for you, like that for me. No, tomorrow for me, like that for you. Okay, so as I said last night, next day now, and here you are. We can see they're on all nice and cured. There's no silvering, there's no nothing. They're absolutely bloody gorgeous. I also put these roundels on later last night after I watched the F-22s. Obviously not too fussed about them, because when they go on the aircraft they're really hidden. I have managed to get the position slightly out. This one is slightly too far this way, but you can see that how it looks. This is where you have to be a little bit dubious with decal guides. You can see this roundel here comes out to the wing edge, and it's sort of got the white bit going onto the white of the stripes there. But you can see I've got this right out to the edge, and the white bit isn't on there, and this one's just inside the edge and the white bit's still not on there. So, and if you look at the position of my white line compared to the kit, it's the same. So as I say, not really too bothered about that because it's folded over, but I really would suggest, they are very nice. I mean, they've covered that grey beautifully, but with these here, I think it'll show up, because you can see when you look at that. Now you can't really see it on the camera, but that's got the white paint behind it, and that's on the grey. I mean, there's hardly any difference, but I think with this one, I think you will see the black white sky. I think, I'm not sure, but there we go. But they go down. I mean, Airfix cartograph decals. I mean, when you look at these things, when I did these wingnut wings, these are cartograph decals. Yes, they're 10 years old or more, but I mean, really, they're the same company. Unbelievable. So yeah, these things are amazing. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to get on and put some more decals on. I mean, watching me putting decals on is probably going to be worse than watching paint dry. So I'm going to get on and put some decals on, and then I'll come back when it's all done, unless I get any troublesome areas, or maybe I'll report troublesome areas at the end. But it's going to take me probably the rest of today, because there's hundreds. We've got all the stencils to do as well. So yeah, wish me luck. So I'm going to go on and get all these decaled up now. These roundels are going to go on these outer wings on the bottom. I'm not going to worry about doing the circles on there, because I think they're going to be absolutely fine. And we're going to be weathering it anyway, remember. So there we go. Remember, if you are doing weathering, I have actually seen it. I've seen it on one model at a show a long time ago, and the guy had done a beautiful job of weathering his model, and he had all the streaks on the wings and chipping and all this, that and the other, and then he put the decals on after. So we had this beautifully weathered, filthy, dirty, chipped and scratched model with perfect decals. So bear that in mind. Right, I will see you when I've got all this done. Bye. Okay, so here we are, 8 hours later. Yes, 8 hours later, and I've still got all these stencils to do. So you can see it's just an absolute nightmare. But we've got all the roundels on. We've got lots of stencil data on them. As you can see, there's some stencil data underneath as well. It's very difficult to see. There's some on there on the black. We've also got the stencil data on the outer wings. Got the lifting points there. We've got some stencils here. All sorts of bits and pieces. And then on the actual fuselage itself, you can see we've got stencils on the tail plane. I haven't done anything down here yet. We've actually got stencils in the bomb bay. We've got these serial numbers on here. I've gloss coated the canopy and everything. The canopy covers the canopies, yeah, I can't think straight. Because there's some very slim decals to go around there. They're going to be a bloody nightmare. Because the trouble is, you see, we want to put the decals on, then we want to seal them in, and then we want to flat coat them. So I can't take the masks off, so we're going to have to be really careful not to get the decals onto the masking tape. Or when we take the masking tape off, we'll pull it pull the mask. It's not masking tape, it's a masking set. We'll pull it sideways, and then anything that's left there, we can just put some decal solution on, and it'll take it down if there's an edge of film there or something. We've also got 2 decals on each rocket, as you can see there, and we've got we've got 3 decals on each of these. There's one on the front, one of which I messed up, so one of them doesn't have that, and then we've got these yellow ones on here which are practically pointless because they're going on orange. So there we go. And then we've got our torpedoes here with the red stripe around. In hindsight, I would probably, these red stripes, I would probably paint them. It took an age to get those to go correctly. We've also got the props, so they're all looking good. So when the spinner goes on, that's going to look like that. So you can see the decals there sticking out of the spinner. Bear in mind that the just in case you don't notice, that the front propeller, the decals are further in than on the back propeller, because obviously the spinner at the front is smaller. So basically it was I think it was 18 millimeters there and 21 millimeters there, I worked it out as. So there we go. We've also got decals on each rocket launcher. It just goes on and on and on. So yeah, it's I mean, I wasn't working for about half an hour because I popped out, but literally the rest of the time I've just been sat here. It's just crazy. Now these decals, they're the typical Airfix cartograph decals, and they're very, very nice indeed. But there are a couple of issues for you to look out for. The worst of all is these wing panels. So we've got these, you can see, well, I'll see how to show this, we've got this rectangular line around, well, it's not rectangular, is it? There's a line around there and there's a line around there. Now that one there is part of the walkway decals, so and it puts it in that position, so I just sliced it through there and moved it. Now this one here and this one here, you can see I've messed up there. That is going down over raised decals, and the decal is slightly too small. So it sits directly on top of the raised rivets. Did I just say raised decals? Raised rivets. And it has no carrier film. You can see on there, if you look, it has next to no carrier film at all. So obviously as soon as you get off the paper, it just, I mean, I know we'd like to talk about minimum carrier film and all that, but I think they should have put at least a 1mm band around the inside and the outside, and then Decal Solutions, being cartograph, would have taken it down. I'm not sure who designs. I know that the actual artwork is done by, I think his name's John, I can't remember now, from the Interesting Modelers site. But he does the actual artwork for them, and I believe he was ill when he was doing these, and hence there was a slight delay in the release of the kit, I think, from what I'd heard rumours. But yeah, he's all better now, thank God. So that's all good. But basically, yeah, it's the actual design of the decal sheet, not the artwork, but the actual design of the decals, the carrier film and that. It's very, very suspect. I mean, you can see this one here. This is marking the 4 steps. And we've got this tiny bit of carrier film. This is, instead of having 2 separate decals, it's one piece. And again, you can see there's no carrier film. And you can see by the silvering in there just how wide that connector is. And what I'll do now, I'll just put a knife. I'll just put a knife through those. Just like so. And they will disappear. And then I can put some setting solution over and they will disappear. But yeah, so it's like the person that actually designed, I don't know if Cartograph do it for them, but there's just no carrier film on some of the decals, so they're all just really, really floppy. So you need to take your time. There's also an issue with that. There's decals on the back of the spinner. You've got this lock and unlock. But what they've done, they've printed them straight in pairs for the front and in 3 for the rear. And what they've done, they've printed them straight, whereas they should be conical, because obviously when you put them on there, they go like that. So you have your lock and unlock. When you look at it like this, your lock and unlock is like that. So you have to slice them down the middle. Now, I wish I'd known that beforehand. You do now, so you can do it. You can slice them down the middle when the decal's still wet and then put them on one by one. I didn't, and I tried to slice them on this one, and the decal all just gathered up. And it seems that these decals are extremely sticky. As soon as they gather up, that's just it. There's no coming apart. So basically, whereas we should have 3 of those on each, we've only got 2. So unfortunately, that's a little inaccuracy. But hey, chipping. I mean, on these down here, I'm thinking some chipping on the wings around that area. You know, washes, a bit of dirt and everything will soon hide that. Also, the lucky thing is, once that wing goes on, it's sort of not really that visible, but you know it's there. We can see it's really starting to look busy now. So I'm going to call it a day because I have to put this down. I can't keep going. It's 8 o'clock now. I've been 8 hours doing this and I can't do it anymore. Oh, there's one other thing as well. There's lots of tiny decals, like you can see here on the front of here. You've got these tiny, tiny little decals with the 5 spots or however many that is. And then you've got these tiny little rings around the rockets here. You've got a tiny little stencil on there. And then here, where are we? You can see one here. There's a tiny little, like a little lifting point or something that is. We've got them all underneath on the back. You've got all these little tiny decals, but they only give you the right number, whereas some other manufacturers will give you a couple of spares. So you need to be really, really careful. But if there's one piece of advice you take from me with this, it's these spinners. Make sure you cut them either before you put them in the water or after, whatever, because these are even worse because it's conical. They go like that. And the decals are actually printed straight. They should have been printed like that. So anyway, I will see you all soon for part 10. What I'm going to do before we do part 10, I'm going to get all of the decals on, get all of the clear coats done, get it all bedded in, and then once everything's clear coated and dry and hard and everything, we can start looking at detail painting. We've got little bits of got to paint these red. I want to do the front of these scoops in a black colour. Had I thought of it, I would have drilled them out before we put the fuselage together, but never mind. Also want to pick up here on and highlight these things and make them all stand out a bit. So I'll see you back for part 10 and I will have done quite a bit of work. So I know these videos have been coming out one on top of the other, but it may sort of slow down for this little tiny segment because I've got a lot of work to do before I get another video out. And at the moment, I am absolutely sick and tired of doing decals, as you can probably understand. So I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.